Right, so I'm just very quickly going to do a full bust adjustment on the Corey dress. So I've been reading this incredible book, Ahead of the Curve, which talks all about fitting for anyone that isn't a size 12 really or under. So basically, if your pattern has something like a full bust measurement and an upper bust measurement, which is the measurement above, basically directly under your arms, then you would use your use the upper bust measurement as a guide to picking your pattern, and then the difference between your upper bust and your full bust is what gives you the amount you need to do a full bust adjustment by. So on the Corey pattern, however, the chart gives us bust, waist and hip, but not the upper bust. So what this lovely lady from this book suggests then, use your high bust measurement to pick your size from the bust line in the body measurements. That approximates your full bust size if you're a B cup, and should get you in the right size for your shoulders, etc, etc, etc. So that means everything will fit apart from your bust. Calculate the difference between your full and your high bust. This is the total amount you're going to add in circumference with your full bust adjustment if the pattern was drafted for a B cup, which I'm going to presume that it is, because almost all patterns are. Here we go. Depending on so going by my high bust measurement, I read as slightly bigger than 14. So what I've done is I've drawn a 15 in. I've basically traced it, and now I'm going to do a full bust adjustment. Looking at the numbers, my high bust is 38.5 inches, my full bust is 40.5. So the difference of that being 2 inches, you then divide the number by 2, which gives the size of the adjustment, because obviously you're adjusting on one half of the pattern, and that will automatically double the size of the adjustment you're making. So I need to do 1 inch full bust adjustment, which makes sense because I'm a sort of C stroke D cup. So let's do what I've just done is I've just measured where my bust apex is, and I've marked it there. So that's basically the very fullest part of your bust. I've marked it on the bust line, well, slightly below the bust line, coming out of the center of the dart. I might have got the height of it slightly wrong actually. So let me just draw in the rest of the line. So I'm going to draw in, I'll use a black pen so it's a bit more clear. I'm going to draw in the lines that I need to do my full bust adjustment. Line 1 goes through the center of the bust dart towards the bust's apex. So the center of the dart, let me just adjust this tiny little bit. Center of the dart, there we go. So actually, this pen doesn't work. Just grab a different one. Right, let's try that again. There we go. I'm actually just going to move the apex up to that line there. Okay, so this is line number 1. Line number 2 goes from the bust apex vertically down to the waist, parallel to the center front. So there we go. Just going to line this up here so I can see. You can use a quilting ruler for this actually if you want to. Definitely makes stuff a lot easier. There you go. There's the waistline. So this is line number 2. Line number 3 goes from the bust apex diagonally to the arm side. It should meet the arm side about 1/3 of the way, but the exact point isn't important. So here is the arm hole there. So it goes from here about there-ish or so. It's not hugely important. There we go. So that's line number 3. Okay, mark the seam allowance at the top of line 3. So that's about there-ish or so. Okay, so I'm now going to cut everything. What I might have to do Right, so I'm going to cut all the way up the vertical line. Now, they usually presume you're making a top. I presume it's absolutely the same for a dress. And I don't mind having a bit of extra width in the dress anyway, although I think you're supposed to probably take the extra width out again with a dart. But we'll cross that bridge a bit later. It is quite a close fitting dress, so I don't really mind it having a little bit extra. So I'm going to cut up to that dart point, and I'm going to pivot and cut almost to the end of that diagonal line there, leaving a little hinge. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one here aside. Oh no, I need to also cut into this one. Is that right? I think that's right. Right, so now I can move this aside and open it up and add exactly an inch. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get some paper with lines on it. That will make life an awful lot easier. Should have done that before really. So let's just get this underneath. I'm using this very, it's gorgeous stuff really. It's called Swedish tracing paper. So it's basically, it's a really soft tracing paper, but it's such an incredible material. You can actually use it to sew with as well, which means you can make adjustments and then test them out by sewing into the paper and then checking whether you've done that correctly. So let me just grab some masking tape to just temporarily put stuff down. Right, it's all looking a bit of a mess now, but believe me, it will all be fine. So I'm going to put this one on a line there. If you don't have any line paper, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, totally understandable. But I do really recommend this pattern paper because it is rather fabulous. So now I'm just going to measure an inch from that edge there. Unfortunately, this patterned paper is in centimetres only. It would be great if it also had inch marks on there, but alas, it does not. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a line here, which is an inch away from the original pattern piece, which ends there. So now I'm going to manoeuvre everything so that this now sits an inch away, while still having everything lay flat. So this inch widthways has given me the extra room I need for the width, the extra width that I'll need to accommodate my bust, which is larger than they expected it to be. Right, I'm just going to tape this down because it is a bit flimsy and wants to move. Okay, so now I'm going to hinge it there and put it down here. Okay, so what this has done, it's given me an extra inch width, but what it has also done, let me just zoom out a little bit, it's made the dart much bigger, so it's also given me some extra height, and it's created space here as well. So basically it's made everything bigger across the bust in order to give me more space to breathe, to heave my chest in. So let's draw our new bust dart in. So what it's saying here, to create a new bust dart, start at the side seam with the original dart legs, but end the dart 2 inches from the bust apex. Right, I tried that this afternoon with a student and we found 2 inches was a little bit too much. But so here we go. So here's the original end of the dart leg and the other end. The original point was somewhere over here. The new point, let's have a look. So where is the center of the dart? It will be there-ish. Okay, and then the apex was there. So they're saying to take 2 inches off, which is about 5 centimeters. There we go. So there is the new dart point, and there's the legs. So I'm just going to draw those in. Darts are always initially just a bit of guesswork, really, because obviously everyone's boobs are different, all in a different place, are all a different shape. So it's always worth doing that first dart, just stitching it in with a long stitch length, not back stitching, etc., etc. Not just, and then you try it on and see where that sits. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So here in green is my new dart. Okay, so the armhole has changed shape a little bit, but once this dart closes, that should pull back in. So the other thing that's happened, let me just swivel this around. At the bottom of the dress, one bit, swivel this all the way around, one bit is now lower than the other, because that's just, you know, we moved one bit down. So what we're going to do is, you can do it 2 ways, really. You can just continue this line here, the lowest one, you can continue this line on until it meets the center front, or what is sometimes easier, especially if you have some style lines going on, you just cut this bottom bit off anywhere at all. Let's make sure you can actually see what I'm doing. So this bottom bit here, just cut that off. Do need to make sure we've got some more of that cross paper sitting underneath there. Tape. So there is that one. Pull that one down. I know it's hard to see because it's all the same colour. But here is the new one. So all we're going to do is pull this bit down . I mean, it's almost entirely unnecessary, to be honest, but there you go. I just want to show you how to do it. Oh, I'm still missing a bit of paper there. This becomes a little bit blue petery, really. Right, more tape. I'll show you the picture from the book. It's probably a lot clearer because it's a line drawing rather than an actual pattern. So here, you can see here, they've cut that bit off and just literally moved it down. So all the stuff in white is the stuff you've added. So you've added a bit of length, which is right because bigger busts take more length as well as more width. The dart is bigger and there's a little bit of extra fabric over here as well. Okay.